Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing? Great to see you all. Thank you very much for joining. We got James saying let's go. We got Nick in. How are we doing, Nick? Crypto Cruise saying market is red. And Crypto Cruise also saying it's over, guys. Crypto Cruise, I've not seen you in here for a while. How the devil are you, my friend? How the devil are you? Yeah, it's great to see everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Obviously, we have just under 15 minutes to go until the interest rate announcement. Ooh. So we'll see what happens there, but obviously we know it's very, 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 very likely to be a no change decision by the Fed. So it'll obviously be a really big shock if it's anything else. But yeah, how is everyone? Do let me know in the chat. Obviously, make sure you drop a like on it. Get the likes going. And yeah, here we are. Obviously, Bitcoin testing SR. If we turn Stonksy off for just a second so we can have a look at the good old price action that we're getting on Bitcoin. Lorenz, how we doing? Yeah, some nice familiar faces that I'm sometimes not seen in a while. Crypto Cruise, I haven't seen you in ages. And Lorenz, I know you came back, didn't you? However, I've not seen you for a little bit again, a few weeks maybe. However, yeah, obviously Bitcoin, where are we? Well, basically we've come down and, oh, hang on, I've got the magnet on. We're just testing. That is really poorly drawn in it. I do apologise about that. That is really poor. So we're just testing previous resistance for support, aren't we? Now, this happened obviously last time with this candle, didn't it? So tomorrow's candle is going to be really, really important because looking good there, bro. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Yeah, the stream has gone levels up. We've got Mega Maid saying hello, everyone. Hello to you. Obviously, if you are new, do make sure you subscribe to the channel. But yeah, so we're testing obviously the previous range high and previous resistance for support, which we did do on this candle, so we don't want to get our hopes up too much. But obviously for now, low time frame wise, we've had a good bounce, haven't we? We have bounced just over K.5, so that's a good reaction so far for Bitcoin. I'm back. How are you? Ready to buy the dip? Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. I am good. It's great to see you back as well, Cruz. Really good to see you back. Thank you for joining. So yeah, that's obviously what we're looking at on Bitcoin so far. You know, really good test of SR there. Really good test of SR. And yeah, so far we've bounced. So what do we want to see from Bitcoin here? Obviously, we want to see it hold, unless you are looking for downside, of course. Then you don't want to see it hold. And then we want to see it obviously start to grind up now because it's had that test of SR. What we don't want to happen is, of course, a repeat of last time where initially it looks like it's going to hold and then obviously just starts to melt all the way back down. Maybe you do want that. Maybe you don't. I don't know. You tell me. Evening, Pleen. How are we doing, mate? Great to see you, a.k.a. CRM. I know that one now, mate. Yeah, great to see you. Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, obviously do make sure you drop a like. All that good stuff. We do have the interest rate decision coming in 10 minutes, which we know is most likely going to be no change. I'll just pull it up on Kalshi. It's going to be basically no change unless something wild happens. You know, it's 99% odds on. Probably a little bit more than that, actually, because the 25 basis point cut, or over 25 basis point cut, is less than 1%. So it's more probably like 99. Well, it says there 99 and 1. But that says less than 1. Anyway, who cares? It's going to be, it would be something mental and, you know, completely crazy if it wasn't a no change decision. That would make it fun though. Still got my fingers crossed for that dump. Well, mate, you know, if you've got a plan, I suppose all you can do is try and stick to it, isn't it? But yeah, apart from that, yeah, we're rocking. We're rocking with the SR test. So let me know. Let me know if you think we're going to bounce from here. Let's go and have a little zoom out into the 4 hour, because that tells obviously a little bit of a different story as well. So the retracing itself has been quite quick, hasn't it? It's not been a slow one. Basically, we hung around, didn't we? After coming up on Monday, we hung around all yesterday, and then obviously into the early hours of today, and then just started hammering it to the downside in 2 4-hour candles, which a lot of the time is actually a lot better to just get it over and done with, isn't it? You know, just get it over and done with, no messing around. And yeah, we just hit full throttle to the downside. So that's over and done with. And like we just covered, obviously we are looking for that SR test. My trading view isn't... Ah, there we go. Yeah, so obviously what we want from here is hold, support, and then start to bounce to the upside. Obviously, if we get down below, then we could aim towards the range low from then on. And that's kind of what we're looking at. Really simple and, to be honest, good risk reward area for Bitcoin here. We know if it fails and it drops back below the grey box, particularly for a daily close, and it isn't just like a fast liquidation move, then we are re-entering the range. If we hold here, and obviously it's looking like for now we are, then obviously this is the test, isn't it? This is the test for support. And then as long as we hold and start to bounce, then we could start looking towards $78,000, $79,000. Jalapeno in the chat, how are we doing to you? Mate, long time no see. Long time no see. How are we? Great to see you, Hala. How are we doing? How the devil are you? Yeah, man, it's good to see you. We've got 14 people in. Do make sure drop a big like on the stream. We have got 7 minutes to go until that highly anticipated no change decision. Is that going to affect Bitcoin or not? We'll have to wait and see. You wouldn't think so, but you never know. Vote. Yeah, vote. Yeah, it's been a minute. How are you, mate? I'm good. How are you? How is things? You know, how is things? Let's just say I'm putting it up now. There you go. There's a poll for you for what you think Bitcoin is gonna do while we're on stream, or you know, most importantly, the interest rate decision coming in 6 minutes. You guys vote with your mindset or belief, and I'm gonna see what you guys think. Let me just check. I just want to check that the tweets have actually gone out. Let me see. Have the tweets gone out? Yeah, that's gone out there. Did everyone like the thumbnail today? I'll be honest. I liked the thumbnail. I liked it a lot. Let's see. Did it go out on TMG's account? Yeah. Okay. All good. That's all good. But yeah, Hala, what have you been up to, mate? Or are you just still cracking on? Just still smashing the market? Yeah, so we got 5 minutes to go until then. And then, of course, do make sure you stay on, because we are going to watch Jerome Powell speak and give us his thoughts. And then, obviously, he's got his Q&A as well. So he's got his little conference bit where he speaks, and then we got the Q&A afterwards. So yeah, it should be very, very interesting for that. But yeah, until then, we're gonna knock up much, have we? Unless you have been trading this, unless you have been awaiting an SR test, you now have it. Let's see, has STRC been doing anything today? I don't know where it's at. I don't know if it's back above $100 or not. I assume maybe it might not be, given today's price action. Let's see. No recent filings. It's stuck. It looks like it's stuck, doesn't it? Can we get a refresh on this? Can we get a refresh on this? There we go. Oh, it's close. It's close, isn't it? It's $99.77. So it's not quite enough to be pushed over. It's not quite enough to be pushed over that $100 mark, but it is close. And obviously nearly at the point where strategy can start selling STRC into the market again. So that would definitely something to keep an eye on for the rest of today and the rest of the week as well. Are we going to get another big strategy buy this week? Maybe this was them. Maybe this was them again. Who knows? What was this strategy again on Monday into Tuesday? Interesting stuff. But yeah, we'll get ready for the decision, which is most likely going to be a no change. I tell you what, it'd make a great stream, wouldn't it? And it'd make great content if it wasn't a no change and we just got absolutely crazy price action. Just a big whipsaw. The risk nobody is pricing in, a Taiwan crisis could break the global economy. And then we've got copper is the new gold, and the market hasn't noticed yet. Now, Wiz will definitely love this, won't he? We'll have to get Wiz's thoughts on this. Obviously, for those of you in CSE or Stonksy, ask Wiz's thoughts on this story. Maybe drop maybe drop the link to the story in and say, Wiz, what do you think about this? Obviously, we know Wiz done a great video on copper being the trade for 2026. And inversion of the bullish fair value gap would be good for shorts Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think my level I'm kind of watching is towards 79. That would be kind of the level that I'd be watching for a slowdown in momentum if we do indeed bounce from here. Obviously, if we drop back below the SR, then we could just cascade down from here, couldn't we? But if we do indeed hold this as support and we bounce, I'm going to be watching this area personally to see what happens there. Do we get a slowdown in momentum, or do we push straight through it? That's kind of what I'm going to be looking out for. But you are right. And thank you for the comment as well. Unbelievable. If anyone else has got any thoughts or feelings, of course, do get it into the chat. But yeah, we got 2 minutes to go. It's going to be... I'm going to predict it now. If I was voting, I would vote nothing. If I was voting, I'd vote nothing. Particularly for this bit. Maybe we get some decent move up on in the conference and the Q&A. I'd be shocked if we got some volatility from this, given that it's priced in. Oh, it should be priced in anyway. Tell you what though, we did have a pretty wild PPI reading today, didn't we? We had a pretty wild PPI reading. PPI came in higher than expected. So not really good in terms of, you know, the Fed's outlook on the economy. And obviously looking for rate cuts. But yeah, we do have 40 seconds to go, so strap in. 40 seconds to go, and then we'll see what's happening. If you have just joined, do make sure you drop a like. Also, do make sure you stick around after the interest rate decision, because we are going to be watching Powell's conference at hour. And then we are going to be watching the Q&A as well. Let me just do something. Let me just move this over here. I need to turn that off so it just doesn't show on the screen whenever I've got it pulled up, but I forgot to pull it over before to my other screen, so it is over there now anyway, and that's what matters. So yeah, 3, 2, 1. Are we going to get anything? Are we going to get anything, Bitcoin? Go on, let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. Let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. No, I'm gonna take a wild guess that it was no change. Anyone else? Take a wild guess that it was a no change decision. Let's see. Yeah, unchanged. Wow, shocker. However, we are getting some... Ooh, we're getting a nice little push on the 5-minute candle on Bitcoin. Yeah, we're starting to push back towards 72 now. So far, so good on that SR test. So far, so good. It's held nicely. And it's doing what we'd want it to do in terms of bouncing back to the upside. So, yeah, it is indeed so far, so good. I do like that. We'll take that all day long, won't we, guys? We'll take that all day long. Do make sure you do stick around though, because yeah, we are going to be watching the conference, so don't go anywhere. And of course, get your thoughts and feelings into the chat. But yeah, Fed leaves rates unchanged, as was the massively expected decision. But we have got a bounce on Bitcoin low time frame. So can we keep this going? Can we keep this going into the conference? Maybe all the way through the Q&A, which would create a really good outlook on all time frames. You know, the daily, the weekly, the 4-hour, the hour, the 5-minute time frame that we're looking at now. Creates a really good outlook on all of them because it's such a big SR test. Also, let me know, obviously, to those of you that have jumped back in, like people like Cruz, Laurent, do you like the new setup? Obviously, it looks a bit different to where I was previously streaming, doesn't it? It looks a bit different, and obviously some nice background music going on as well. Hopefully, the audio and the visual is coming through a bit more clear, and maybe a bit higher quality as well. So do let me know, obviously, if you like the new stream setup and system. Hopefully you do. But yeah, obviously, so what's next? Well, what's next is obviously we're just waiting until 1/2 past the hour now. That's all we can do. Let's go check what's going on the S&P. So the S&P got the exact same, however, all the way back down on the S&P so far. This thing is a joke, isn't it? This thing is an actual joke. So it's even up more than when I checked this morning. 166% off the low. It's literally within like the space of like 4 weeks as well. The only background music that should be ever chosen is the WEEX store music. Mate, I've got that on. Do you want it? Do you want to hear it? There you go. That one's just for you, James. That one's just for you. There you go. The WEEX store music. You love it. You absolutely love it. But yeah, Circle. I mean, the thing's just a rocket ship, innit? What is interesting, I don't know if anyone's checked in, I was speaking to Wiz about this before as well, is Tron. So Tron on the stock market is really interesting because, and we'll go check it out in a minute. One, it's up like 50% from the low. So, you know, it's had such a good bounce. I mean, if you look at the downfall on it from there, such a good bounce. But what we will go and check is obviously what got said about it today from His Excellency, Justin Sun. Let's go and have a look what His Excellency had to say. Quite interesting. I was speaking to Wiz about it before and he said he hadn't bought enough. I've not bought any yet, but I'm keen to because, where is it? Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. It was from today. Here you go. So His Excellency said, Wall Street has been asking, what is the Chinese version of Circle? They're looking to invest in a Circle-like company that is more efficient, has a lower valuation, and generates higher profits. Now the answer is here, Tron. Its issuance is on a similar scale to Circle. Over the past year, Tron generated 3.3 billion in profit. Massive profit that, isn't it? You know, in terms of profit, not revenue, profit. While Circle has been operating at a loss. True story. Tron's current market cap is around $500 million. I didn't realise it was so low. This is the stock version, obviously, not Tron in terms of crypto coin. Compared to Circle's 35 billion, it seems heavily. I mean, that's basically just because of, you know, how much reserves they have for USDC, isn't it? Because Circle, the company, barely makes any money. I mean, it's been operating at a loss, as he said. Meaning Tron is valued at roughly 70 times smaller than Circle. Just to clarify, Tron is not a Chinese company. It remains a US company. This person hasn't got the memo. They're talking about the Tron, the thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty interested in Tron. I mean, kind of the ship started to sail with it a bit, hasn't it? But I didn't realise it was such a low valuation. And then, obviously, when you scale out, if you look on a weekly chart, it's started to turn a bit. But, you know, the upside could be great on it. So I haven't took a position yet. And obviously, if I do, I'll tell you guys. It's not financial advice to go and buy this. Obviously, just looking at what His Excellency said. Hey, what you doing there, you? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got the oak handrail going in now, guys. Got the oak handrail going in. But, yeah, that's it. So, I'm just chatting on here. Anyway, so yes, Tron stock, I'm interested in it. I haven't bought any yet. It's not financial advice, of course, but looking at what Justin Sun's saying, you know, does it make a lot of sense? Potentially. I mean, is it undervalued? Potentially. Especially considering how much money they made. I mean, if you think about how much money Justin Sun's got and how much money Tron has, I mean, how high could they sell? It's a $500 million valuation. The company made 3.3 billion in profit. Even if they put a couple of $100 million aside to just buy this up at market, it could send it absolutely to the moon. To the moon, guys. We haven't heard that saying in a while, have we? So yeah, that's obviously a story interesting from today. And obviously something, you know, while you've got Circle mooning, I mean, look at that the past couple of weeks. Insane. Obviously Coinbase is really nicely up from the downside as well, and MSTR. But we do have obviously Tron as an option as well. Now let's go see what this is doing. Looks like we've gone a little bit more to the upside now. Have we gone a bit more to the upside? We have. Come on. I need to get my mouse out. I need to get my mouse out, guys. I'm gonna get my mouse out for Friday's stream. I just need to find a bloody mouse pad, but I know I've got one over there. So yeah, I mean, did anyone find that information on Tron interesting or not? I don't know. Maybe you thought it was an absolute pile of rubbish. Who knows? Bitmine. Yeah, let's have a look at Bitmine. I mean, I think the thing with Tron is something that could just trend on its own, based on one, how much money they have, and two, what Justin Sun's likening it to. If you look at Circle, obviously Circle's just been going at it on its own. Even relating to Coinbase and MSTR, Circle has outperformed them by a couple of times over. But if we look at Bitmine, yeah, I mean, oh, sorry, that's the 5 minute. I thought that was the weekly chart then. Let's see where Bitmine is. I think I may have started to lag a little bit. Is that what that says? Yeah, it done this on Monday, so just bear with the stream, guys. I think it lags for about 5 minutes. I mean, Bitmine, yeah. The thing is, this will just, and all of them really. You know, you can definitely apply this to all of them. They'll just trade alongside the market, won't they? So basically, Bitmine just needs ETH to go up for Bitmine to go up. That's basically how it happens, isn't it? I mean, if it ever come down here, obviously I'd buy the hell out of it, but I don't know if it will. This stock looks, I mean, that's shocking, that, isn't it? That is shocking. What an absolutely shocking stock. When have they got earnings? Tomorrow. Christ. I mean, look at that. The estimated revenue is 50 million for crypto exchange. That's tiny. But yeah, I mean, Bitmine, like all of them, will just depend on the market. I mean, what you actually are starting to see, and this has actually still been the case. Hey, what are you doing? This has actually been the case for a while. Is the stocks are bouncing more than Bitcoin. You know, and it's been the case for the whole cycle, really. You know, MSTR outperformed Bitcoin by a couple times over. Coinbase done really well. Obviously, the emergence of Bitmine and all the others have done really well. But yeah, I mean, Bitmine just largely depends on ETH. Where Tron, TRX has always kind of traded and done its own thing. That's what I would say about TRX is, Tron, is if it's anything like TRX, then it could just do its own thing. Or might not do. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, thanks for your comment, Nick. Thanks for your comment, Nikki. Now, I just want to test something here. Test something. Oh, there we go. With OBS, I didn't know how to turn myself off like I did on StreamYard, but there we go. There we go. But yeah, we've got 20 minutes. Oh, this is such a long. Feels like such a long wait. It feels like such a long wait. What's everyone had for tea? or what's everyone having for tea? What's everyone had for tea, or what's everyone having for tea? Let me know in the chat. I want to know what you're all gonna be scavenging on while you're watching the stream or afterwards. To be fair, whoever voted up on the Bitcoin move poll was actually right. Well done. You was right. So yeah, congrats. Congratulations. She said, oh, hi, nice to meet ya. Come back, maybe we could dance, get up off our feet. Let me know in the chat what you want me to cover next, anyway. Mitchy. Mitchy. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of waiting now, aren't we? We're just kind of waiting for the conference to start. And then we'll watch what Powell has to say, watch his Q&A. And then we'll be finito, won't we? We'll be done until, I don't know when the next one is actually. Let's see. Let's see when the next one is. Should be able to have a look on Kalshi. Kalshi is the only one I got loaded up. Related one. There you go. Oh, so there's one in April as well. Let's see what's being priced in for April. Let's see. Oh, so maintained is at 94% for April. A cut is at 4%, and a hike is actually at 2%. That's fascinating. I don't know if I'm lagging. I don't know if I'm lagging on stream or not. You'll have to let me know, guys. You'll have to let me know if I'm lagging or not. But yeah, conference starts in 15 minutes, so we're just eagerly awaiting that, aren't we? If you do want me to run through anything specific, then let me know. But yeah, so we'll have one in April. Does it say the date? 29th. The 29th. So that is, how many weeks is that now? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. So we got a 6-week break. So this time, it's actually 6 weeks today as well. So this time, 6 weeks today, we'll be doing this all over again, which I'm sure you're all thrilled about. So you get to spend another night with me on the 29th of April. So mark it in your calendars. Get it in your calendars. 29th of April, you know what you're doing. You're spending an hour and a half-ish with Dave. Oh, just got a shiver then. But yeah, I mean, as for anything else, I'm not really. There's not a whole lot else. I don't think there's a whole lot else. I mean, let's see what Solana actually. Let's see what Solana and ETH do. We've not even looked at them, have we? There I am saying there's not much we can do until the conference starts. We've not even looked at Solana and ETH. Right, important. Pay attention. Solana, same as Bitcoin, testing SR. This is what actually looks quite bullish, guys. Is Solana is in the exact same position as Bitcoin, where it's came back down and it's perfectly pinged the SR, which is a really good sign. Now the question is, has ETH done the same? Almost. I mean, it may have, depending on how you draw your resistance and where you got the box drawn. Not bad, not bad. So I mean, the fact that all three of them have come back down and basically tested SR and are sitting at SR going into the daily close, I would say that's a pretty good sign. I mean, look at this thing now. Look at the beast. This thing just does not care, does it? Not to gloat or anything, guys, but on Friday we did the CSE newsletter. And I put this hype section into the CSE newsletter when it was, so Friday here was on this candle, so it was in and around like $36 to $37, and I was on about obviously testing SR. So this is kind of the potential bullish outlook for me, guys. It's up another 18% from there. So CSE newsletter packed full of good stuff. But this is what potentially we're looking at, and this is why it's important, is hype is moving ahead of the rest of the market, basically. So, just like the structures of Bitcoin, ETH, Sol that we've just looked at, hype had the same. Strong resistance that it couldn't break, and then it broke, and then it flipped SR, and then is obviously now expanding to the upside pretty fast. So, the question is hype kind of the ghost of Christmas future, if you will, where it's basically just moving before Bitcoin, before ETH, before Sol, and kind of showing where the market is going to go? maybe a bit far-fetched considering it's not even like a top 5. I don't even know if it's actually probably will be a top 10 one now, I'd imagine. Let's see where Hype is. Surely it's a top 10 coin now, Hype. With the absolute garbage that's out there, surely it's a top 10 coin. It is just about, yeah, 10th. So it needs to do like another, what, 20%, maybe 30% to flip Doge. And then it's quite a bit behind TRX. Be like 150% move to flip TRX. But it's not too far behind Doge. It's not too far behind 9th position. But yeah, so yeah, you know, if you look at Hype's structure there, and then you look at Bitcoin and you look at Sol and you look at ETH, Hype potentially just moving before the rest of them. But yeah, we got just under 10 minutes to go, guys. A lot of you have gone. Obviously, those of you that are still watching are still here. But we've had a mass exodus, guys. We always get that. After the rate decision, everyone just goes. Only the true legends stick around for the conference and the Q&A to see Papa Powell give us some large. But yeah, metals is Jalapeno's favourite. Oh, Jalapeno's still here. Jalapeno is still here. Yes, Hala. I love that, mate. Absolutely love that. Love it. I think the streams. I think the stream might be lagging a little bit again. Metals. Let's take a look. Retrace today. Maybe we could get some. Maybe we could get some comments in the chat from Hala. Hala, I assume, mate, that you're still a veteran gold trader. I assume that you've been absolutely rinsing gold the past, well, all year. I don't think I've spoke to you all year, have I? I don't think I've probably spoke to you since before Christmas. But let me know, what's your kind of high time frame outlook on metals, Hala? Whether it be gold and silver or just gold. I'd probably take it that you're still a daily gold trader, but what about your high time frame one? So it depends probably what you're looking at, Nick. I mean, if you're looking at the high time frame, does it look a bit toppy? What I would probably say is it's quite interesting, the fact that gold and silver have been going down with the start of the war. Maybe it's not, actually. It probably was just front running it a bit, so it's probably not that interesting. It was probably front running it and that's why it's selling off. But obviously, typically what you would see in terms of uncertainty and fear is obviously people buying into risk assets, but maybe people are taking it as an opportunity to sell while people think it's an opportunity to buy. Gold being alright for scalping, mate. Only gold, but high time frame goes higher in my opinion. 16k. I don't know if anyone remembers the 16k price prediction. It wasn't even a prediction. It's someone that I saw on X talking about gold at 16k, and it sounded crazy at the time, but I think it was around 3.5k when someone said that. I think it was about 3.5k. It might have even been here when it was under 3.5k. But I remember them tweeting it, saying that they were speaking to so this person. You take it with a pinch of salt because it's just X. But I mean, since then, gold's gone up like what, over 50%. They said they were speaking to a high up person in one of the institutions, and they were saying gold's going to 16k. I remember sitting in TSE Lounge talking about Bitcoin going to 39k. Yeah. Yeah. When was this? Was this? At what point was this, Hala? Was this? God, I can't. When was I in there? I haven't been in the CSE Lounge in ages. I don't even know if I was in there or not. I suppose, speaking of that, Hala, what's kind of your high time frame view on Bitcoin? I think probably, judging by that, are you kind of 39k? Is that kind of your number? When CSE started? Yeah, so when CSE Plus started, Bitcoin was probably about, yeah, I think it started in September 2023, so Bitcoin was probably about 25k. I'm sure CSE started in the September of 23. CSE Plus, that is the Discord. I'm sure, yeah. So it would have been about 25k. Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't looked at Bitcoin. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. I mean, you look at it, don't you? And there's so much conflicting stuff on Bitcoin. There's so much conflicting stuff on Bitcoin. You know, you look at say the daily now, and the daily looks pretty all right. 52k, then 39k in my opinion. Yeah, kind of that would be my next level down, Haller. So that kind of region anyway. So yeah, nice similar thoughts. But you look at Bitcoin and you think, right, the daily looks all right in this position because it's testing SR. Obviously, then that filters down to low time frame. But then you look at the weekly and you think, oh, are we just doing this again? Are we just doing that again? It's really conflicting, isn't it? Only time will tell, I suppose. But yeah, Haller thinks 52 and then 39. Be a golden opportunity, that, wouldn't it? Absolutely golden. Such a golden opportunity if that comes. But yeah, we have 6 minutes to go until Powell's press conference starts. So let me just check everything's up and running. Yeah, so that's there in waiting for us. Coming back down on Bitcoin now. Let me know, what would you guys want? Do you want just Powell on the screen talking, or do you want the Bitcoin chart next to him? What do you want? Do you want Powell on the screen, just Powell, or do you want the Bitcoin chart pulled up next to him? Let me know so I can get it sorted if that's what you guys want. I assume we're probably going to want oh god, let me turn that off. Alright, let me sort this out then. I assume probably everyone's going to want, yeah, both, yeah. Right. Let me sort this out in preparation. What's that doing? Get out. Powell and charts. Yeah. Right. Just sorting this out then. Well, let me get... Honestly, I think it's coming to the point where I think I need to maybe look at getting a new going to 68,800 pretty something. I'll read that in a second. Right. Now let me put that across. Honestly, it's lagging so much. My system's nearly 2 years old, my operating system on this, so I think it's just coming to that probably time where it just starts to fuck up a bit. Right. I seem to have done it now, after all the lagging. If I'm coming through laggy, then hopefully it should stop in a sec. My little MacBook is probably on its knees, begging me to stop trying to load things up. Right. Come on. There we go. Oh, come on. Right, I can flip the screen back anyway. Honestly, it's I think it's nearly killing my MacBook. This, I think it's nearly killing it. I need to remember to turn. Look at it. It's not even moving. It's killing it. It's killing my MacBook. I need to do a refresh on it, to be honest. I haven't restarted it in weeks. Right. There we go. How's that? And what I'll do is I'll get rid of myself as well, so you guys can watch it without me in the way. Hang on. I need to move it a bit that way, don't I? So you can see it. There you go. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, I need to remember to turn the background music off. And then right, turn the sound up. And yeah, so we're ready to rock now on that. Obviously, for those of you that have stuck around, thank you for sticking around. Appreciate you joining the stream and watching. And of course, yeah, sticking around for the conference. If you want to watch the conference, obviously, I will have it running up until basically the questions just get pointless. And yeah, if you are still here at the end, then obviously I'll say a big thank you. But yeah, we pretty much 1 minute away, so let me turn the background music off on that. And let me get Powell ready to go. If it's going to load anyway. Is it going to come on? Give it a refresh. There we go.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. The U.S. economy has been expanding at a solid pace. While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has been little changed in recent months, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. Today, the FOMC decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. We see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. The implications of developments in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. We will remain attentive to risks to both sides of our dual mandate. And I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Consumer spending has been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects that real GDP will rise 2.4% this year and 2.3% next year, somewhat stronger than projected in December. In the labor market, the unemployment rate was 4.4% in February and has changed little since late last summer. Job gains have remained low. A good part of the slowing in the pace of job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. Other indicators, including job openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, generally show little change in recent months. In our SEP, the median projection of the unemployment rate is 4.4% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.8% over the 12 months ending in February, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.0%. These elevated readings largely reflect inflation in the goods sector, which has been boosted by the effects of tariffs. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have risen in recent weeks, likely reflecting the substantial rise in oil prices caused by the supply disruptions in the Middle East. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation this year is 2.7% and 2.2% next year, a bit higher than projected in December. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. From last September through December, we lowered our policy rate 0.75 percentage point, bringing it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral. This normalization of our policy stance should continue to help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2%. But the implications of events in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. In the near term, higher energy prices will push up overall inflation, but it is too soon to know the scope and duration of the potential effects on the economy. We will continue to monitor the risks to both sides of our mandate. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path of the federal funds rate under what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.4% at the end of this year and 3.1% at the end of next year, unchanged from December. As is always the case, these individual forecasts are subject to uncertainty, and they are not a committee plan or decision. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we'll make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned two goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We at the Fed will continue to do our jobs with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Colby Smith of the New York Times. There's been some debate about whether the Fed should look through the inflation that will come from higher oil prices stemming from the Middle East conflict. Is that the right approach at this juncture? And to what extent does the fact that inflation has been above target for roughly 5 years now influence the committee's thinking around this?
So, first, let me say we're well aware of the performance of inflation over the last few years and how a series of shocks have interrupted progress that we've made over time. And that happened most recently with tariffs, and now there will be some effects on inflation going forward. The thing that's really important that we see this year is progress on inflation through a reduction in goods inflation as the one-time effects on prices of tariffs go through the system, go through the economy. That's the main thing we're looking for going into this exercise. And we need to be seeing that to sort of understand that we actually are making progress, because on net we didn't make progress. And if you look at total core inflation, it's about 3%, and some big chunk of that, between 1/2 and 3/4, is actually tariffs. So we're looking for progress on that. The question of whether we look through the energy inflation doesn't really arise until we have kind of checked that box. It, of course, is kind of standard learning that you look through energy shocks, but that's always been dependent on inflation expectations remaining well anchored. And I think now it's also dependent on what you mentioned, which is that broader context of 5 years now of inflation above target. We have to keep all of those things in mind, and the question of looking through when it does arise will be one to approach not lightly, but in the context that you mentioned.
And just on the S&P, can you help us make sense of why there is still a bias to cut for most officials this year, despite the upward revision to headline and core inflation and the essentially unchanged forecast for growth and unemployment? Just curious, kind of what's the genesis behind the need? What's the need for the cut?
Yeah, so there are 19 people, and so 19 reasons, 19 individual submissions. But if you notice, the median didn't change, but there was actually some movement toward a meaningful amount of movement toward fewer cuts by people. So 4 or 5 people went from 2 to 1, let's say, 2 cuts to 1 cut. And each person has individual, stories behind what they want to do. But essentially it is that, the forecast is that we will be making progress on inflation. Not as much as we had hoped, but some progress on inflation. It should come as we start to see in the middle of the year progress on tariffs, going through once and then tariff inflation coming down. We should be seeing that. And, the rate forecast is conditional on the performance of the economy. So if we don't see that progress, then you won't see the rate cut.
Thank you. Howard Schneider with Reuters. Just to follow up a little bit and to be clear, is the higher inflation penciled in here for 2026 solely the result of the oil shock or something else?
So that's going to be part of it. But, that wouldn't be most of core, right? So the oil shock for sure shows up here. Some of that will be in core as well. Yes, but no, there's also just the feeling that we haven't seen, the progress that we had hoped for on core goods and on tariffs and on the rest of it. So for whatever reason, people did write up their inflation forecast. That will certainly be tied to events in the Middle East and the price of oil, but it's also, I think, a reflection of the slow progress we've seen on tariffs, which we believe we will see. It's just a question of how long it takes for them to get all the way through the economy, and it just takes some time.
Right. And is the lack of change in the SEPs, again, just to explicate this a little bit, more due to the expectation that the oil portion of this will pass through, or more out of concern that there is a potential blow to consumption and growth coming in the form of wealth effects with the stock market down, in the form of gas prices, diverting spending from other parts of the economy?
So I didn't get the second part of your question.
The consumer's going to be potentially diverting money to gasoline from other parts of the economy. There could be a growth shock or a redistribution of spending there. They can hit consumption, wealth effects as well. I guess I'm wondering, is the rate forecast not changing because you think the oil shock is going to be temporary, or because you want to be sure you're positioned in case growth starts to slow?
So the thing I really want to emphasize is that nobody knows. The economics effect could be bigger, they could be smaller, they could be much smaller or much bigger. We just don't know. So people are writing down something that seems to make sense to them, but have no conviction that to your point, if we have if we have a long period of much higher gas prices, that's going to weigh on consumption. That'll weigh on disposable personal income, and it'll weigh on consumption. But we don't know if that's going to happen. Something quite different than that. We might have much lower than expected pass-through. So people write down, this is one of those SEPs where a number of people mentioned if we were ever going to skip an SEP, this would be a good one, because we just don't know. So I wouldn't say there's a conviction that this is going to go through quickly or not quickly. It's just you got to write something down, and this is something that is that people wrote down, and we don't debate how long. How do you do that? We wouldn't be able to debate what the length of or size of these effects would be. We just have to kind of make an individual statement, and also what you've written down before you'll be reluctant to move too far away from that, just because you don't know. It's so unclear what the direction from this particular end will be. Meanwhile, the growth has been solid, and inflation, the overshoot is mainly from the goods and tariffs. And, the labor market the unemployment rate, of course, is little changed since September. You have a very, very low break-even rate, apparently, for new jobs with little growth in either demand or supply. But the U.S. economy is doing pretty well. It's just we don't know what the effects of this will be, and really no one does.
Steve.
Mr. Chair, in the past, the staff has suggested that higher oil prices, they have a hit to consumption, which Howard was talking about, but that's somewhat offset by increases to domestic production. I wonder if you could talk about that dynamic, especially to the extent that how much U.S. production is happening right now.
So the first thing is there is, the original thinking, the long-standing thinking, put it that way, is that you do look through energy shocks. But as I mentioned, that's conditioned on inflation expectations and that kind of thing. So, sorry, your question was?
What the staff is saying about, and has said in the past.
Yeah. So there'll be an offset.
Offsets, yeah.
So that's true. We're a net exporter of energy, right? So any effects on employment and economic activity and spending would be offset to some extent by the fact that our oil companies will be more profitable and they may even do more drilling. If you ask oil companies about doing more drilling, though, they're going to want to see, a consistent rise in oil prices from where they were before the buildup for the war, and you're going to want to believe that that's going to be persistent for a fairly long time. So they're not sitting there waiting for oil to go over $70 a barrel, and then they're going to start drilling or whatever. They're going to make a reasoned, careful judgment that we're going to have higher oil prices for an extended period, meaningfully higher. So I wouldn't say there's much of that happening, not much of it happening now, but some of that could happen over time if you see that. But so the net of the oil shock will still be some downward pressure on spending and employment and upward pressure on inflation, of course.
And if I could just follow up on Colby's question, how much do you worry that having looked through tariff inflation and inflation running above target and looking through the oil price shock would undermine the credibility of your commitment to the 2% target?
We have to do our analysis and think these things through carefully, but of course that's on everyone's mind. We're well aware of the history, but you don't want to overreact to that. You want to make the best judgment you can based on the facts. I don't think we're going to let it color our decision making more than is appropriate. It's more the thought that it's been 5 years, and we've actually had we had the tariff shock, we had the pandemic, and now we have an energy shock of some size and duration. We don't know what that's going to be actually, and it's one of those things where it's a repeated set of things, and you worry that that's the kind of thing that can cause trouble for inflation expectations, and so we worry a lot about that, and we are very strongly committed to doing what it takes to keep inflation expectations anchored at 2%, and I think it's important that we do that. Very important.
Nick.
Nick Timmeros, Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, you've described monetary policy as modestly restrictive. If the unemployment rate is roughly stable, inflation moving sideways in the high twos, with an ongoing overshoot in services and non-housing services, not just goods, and the economy doing fairly well, as you just outlined, what gives you confidence that inflation returns to target over the next couple of years?
Okay. So I would say the rate is, you can characterize it as in the high end of neutral, or you can characterize it as perhaps mildly restrictive, even modestly restrictive. No one knows for sure, but it's in that range where it's somewhere around the borderline between restrictive and not. Remember that a big part of the disinflation we're looking for is just the runoff of when tariffs are put into place. Of course, what they do is they raise prices to some extent, to the extent those prices the tariffs are paid by consumers on a one-time basis. And we're waiting for that process. It takes 8, 9, 10, 11 months a year to go through the system, and we're waiting for the tariffs, which were put in place over the course of the middle part and later last year. We're waiting for that to go through the system, so that goods inflation will return closer to what it's always been. I mean, it used to be for many years it was negative, and then the year before tariffs came in, it was 0, and it's running at like 2% now. So. And so that's kind of goods inflation is running at 2%. So that's not coming from standard Phillips curve restrictive policy. It's coming from the runoff of a one-time thing. We also think it's important, though, to keep policy either mildly restrictive or close to that, but not too restrictive because of the weakness in the downside risk in the labor market. We are balancing these two goals in a situation where the risks to the labor market are to the downside, which would call for lower rates, and the risks to inflation are to the upside, which would call for higher rates, or not cutting anyway. So we're in a difficult situation, and we feel like our framework calls on us to balance the risks, and we feel like where we are now, which is kind of on that borderline, the higher borderline of restrictive versus not restrictive, we feel like that's the right place to be.
Can I add?
Right. Well, to those of you that are still here, thank you very much for watching. It's been great. For obviously those of you, there's still 4 people watching, so there's 4 of you guys that have stuck it out. So big thank you to you, whoever has stuck it out. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed watching Powell. And yeah, that is obviously it for FOMC streams until the 29th of April. So content-wise, obviously make sure you're checking X. I've got short videos going out over there. And, of course, I'll be streaming on Friday. So, yeah, big thank you for watching. Absolute legends, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.